We're so glad you're with us today on The Road in Between. We're going to be with Tana Clay, who marries Scott Causey. It all happened through disease, and the word is cancer. But for her, the C word really is not cancer, it is Christ, and how Christ worked in her life to bring love and affection and encouragement that came through a particular man named Scott. They were best friends, and when Tana got diagnosed, we're going to see how their love grew for each other. And then we're going to be with people from Make-A-Wish Foundation in Mississippi. We're going to be introduced to a number of families who were touched by disease, and instead of being down, they recognized that there was encouragement waiting for them. Great stories with you today on The Road in Between.
Thoughts keep running through my head as I walk this road with nothing ahead. The sun beams down on my face as I walk this road that leads to amazing grace.
Stick around, we'll be right back.
John O'Neill Johnson Toyota has been serving customers for over 20 years with integrity, honesty, and value. We want to thank you, our customers, for helping us win so many awards. Now we're #1 in Gulf States Toyota for market share 2 years in a row. Multiple winner of Toyota's President Award and 6-time Gold Dealer recognition. And the reason is simple. Customer satisfaction is our #1 priority.
John O'Neill Johnson, a name you can trust. Toyota, a product you can depend on.
Coming up next on The Road in Between.
What's in a letter? If you're Mitchell Signs and Imprints, one letter means everything, and it's in the name. Mississippi, Meridian, Mitchell Signs, Imprints. 2 companies that help you reach your clients, whether it's big or small. And just like the name says, Mitchell Signs and Imprints are local. Meridian people, Mississippi pride. From quality signs to the perfect promotional product, see why Mitchell Signs and Imprints have been earning Mississippi's trust for more than 100 years. Check them out on Facebook for special deals and more information.
Welcome back to The Road in Between. We are here with Tana and Scott Causey, and it's great to be with you. We were at your wedding and got to see how God had brought you together, and thank you for meeting with us on The Road in Between.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Well, this is Meridian Little Theater. This is where the drama of life seems to unfold on stage and off the stage, and it brought you all together. And I'm real interested in your story and how God brought you together and what you've learned on your road in between as you've gone through some unique situations. And Tana, let's begin with you and maybe share a little bit about where you came from and where you are now.
In December of 2011, I was diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer at the age of 25. And it was something that I've always known that I was going to have. I don't know why, it was just one of those feelings that I always knew. And I can remember telling Scott that many a times, and I've told my friends that before, and when I was diagnosed, it was not really a shock to me. So
I kept telling her she was crazy.
And I knew it, and I told him, I said, I know what it is, and he said, no. Yeah, I know. And so I was diagnosed on December 6th of 2011, and like I said, it wasn't that big of a shock to me. It wasn't that big of a surprise. I can remember being on the phone with the doctor and my mom walking in the door, and I was sitting there just talking to the doctor like I normally would, and I was like, yes, sir, yeah, that's fine, okay, thank you. And my mom saying, was it good news? I said, Mama, I told you I had cancer.
Yeah, her mom and I took it a lot harder. God didn't prepare us for it. So
No.
yeah.
I tried to, but
she did
no.
try, but we didn't believe her. So
Did you go through a grief process though?
There were a few times, not many, that I actually did cry. The one time I did breakdown was when I had gone to the doctor, and granted, I knew that I was going to have cancer. I knew that. I did not know what that encompassed, I guess. I did not realize that I would have to have chemo and I would have to have radiation. And at 25 years old, I wasn't going to have any hair. I was not going to have any eyelashes it was just one of those things that as a 25-year-old, a single 25-year-old, I didn't want to comprehend, I guess. And so that was the one time that I got upset, because it was me being selfish and me just being a girl, but I didn't have that one thing that was making me pretty, I guess. Sure. And then there were maybe 2 or 3 other times, but the only person I wanted was him. The only person I wanted. And nobody, and you can ask anybody, nobody saw me cry. I didn't cry because, like I said, it was something I was prepared for, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But whenever I did have those days of just, I don't feel good, I called him.
You called Scott?
I did.
What is it about Scott that drew you to need that kind of person?
Comfort, just that person that just made you comfortable no matter what. It was that person that you could lay on the couch with and not have to talk and not have to do anything. And I can remember the one time, I think it was after my 3rd chemotherapy. Mm-hmm. Number 1 and number 3 was bad. And after number 3, I remember going to his mama's house and laying down on their carpet, because it was so comfortable, laying down on their carpet and falling asleep while he watched a movie, like laying on the floor. And that's what I wanted to do in front of the fireplace, and that's what he did.
Now, y'all were friends then, or did you start dating and then, how did that work?
We had dated for a little bit.
I'm gonna get in trouble on this one.
long
We had dated for 2.5, 3 years, and
Took a break.
And we never really fully got away from each other, but for about a year there, we were not dating. We still talked, and towards the end of that is when, that year is when she was diagnosed. And we started hanging out a lot more, seeing the toughness of her, the determination, really made me, brought back a lot of those same feelings that I'd always had. I never stopped loving her, obviously, but just seeing, seeing someone at their worst, you just kind of get a greater appreciation for it. But we went through all of that, and again, this place right here was probably one of the biggest things about it. She had never had the courage. She had come with me a few times to do a play, and she never had the courage to get up and try out, ever.
I was chicken.
She was chicken.
I don't know why.
And they came up with a play that she had always said if they ever do this, she would definitely do it, and they did Cats. And she called me up and said, I'm going to do it. And I said, well, do it. I said, if you want me to come up there with you, I will. She's like, no, I get more nervous with you there than if I don't. So I, of course, just sat at home pretty much waiting for the phone call. I actually called up a few people and told them, said, look, give her a chance. I promise you she's great, but she's going to be nervous, but give her a chance. A few people that I knew here. And she...
that was the play that I came to. I was sitting there talking to a friend of mine and asked, I think I'm going to do that tonight. And she said, okay, I'm doing it too. I said, okay. So I come with my hat on, no wig, no nothing, and...
No eyebrows?
No eyebrows,
no
nothing.
hair whatsoever.
So the first thing that happens is Jimmy Pigford gets up and says, if you have a hat on, I need you to take it off. And I look around, and it's just me. I said, okay. So I took it off. Bald as can be. It was just me. So, yeah. And, number one, I got up on stage and I tried out, but number 2, I tried out with no hair whatsoever. And I can remember Jeremy Sandy in the back going, "This is the first one you're trying out for?" I said, "Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I am."
That vulnerability made you fall in love with her even more.
It did. I mean, seriously, the courage that she had through that and what she gained
Oh my gosh.
from cancer was really, I mean, it really was. It was amazing, the amount of courage and I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to do it. She had always been more reserved. She didn't want to put herself out there. And I really think that was something that, you know, maybe God put it in her life to kick her into that mode.
That's why I said I thank God every day that I had cancer. I'm actually so thankful that I had cancer, because it proved to me that I am strong and I can do whatever I want, and kind of the person that I felt on the inside never matched the person that I was on the outside until I had cancer. And now it's more of, I can do it, and I'm going to show you I can do it.
Beautiful. And you're a teacher.
Yes.
Tell us about teaching and how, were you teaching when you had cancer?
Yes. I was in my 3rd year of teaching, and great year. I mean, I had a new assistant, brand new assistant, loved her to death. I think she was meant for me, like she's supposed to be my assistant, you know, and this was her first year doing anything, and I had to come in and say, number 1, I'm sick, but number 2, you've got to teach. And I can remember her being so supportive of me, you know, and I mean, only knowing me for 4 months at the time, you know, her being so supportive of me, but to like taking over the classroom, because I didn't miss a whole lot. It was when I had chemo, and I had the first 4 rounds of the adriamycin, which is the red devil, which is the bad stuff. It would be every 2 weeks, and I would miss 2 days. So 8 days was basically it. From January until May, I missed 8 days of school. And those 8 days, she had to step up and be the teacher with no assistant for her, you know, anything like that. And so again, God gave me her as well. I mean, to step in and take it over. I mean, and be me, you know. And so it was wonderful. But yeah, the kids that year didn't know anything. I didn't tell them. They didn't know. I didn't want them to know.
Did you have a wig?
Yes, I did. And I had cut my hair. My hair was really long, and I cut it off short. So the transition from hair to wig, they didn't really notice. But so that whole group really didn't. They didn't know anything about it. Their parents might have, but it was something that I did not broadcast. I didn't want anybody, like everybody at school knew, of course, but I didn't really want my kids to know, because they were, you know, kids are very honest. And at that time, I didn't really know if I wanted their honesty. But the next year, I was very open with those students, because at that time my hair was coming back and I didn't want that wig on. I wasn't going to have it on. And I can remember the day that I actually warned them. I told them, I said, all right, I've got a surprise for you, you know, prefaced it a little bit and showed them, took off the wig. And I have a little girl, and I have the picture, and she brought me a barrette. It was a little blue barrette that she had in her hair, and she put it in my hair, and she says, you can wear this so you can feel pretty. And I was like, of course, you know, boo-hoo. But I mean, by that time, it was just, I was done and I was over it, and I wasn't wearing a wig, and it didn't bother me at all. But all of my parents have been incredibly supportive, but all of my coworkers in my school, they were extremely supportive, and that is what helped.
I know you didn't want a pity party.
No.
But you did want support.
I did.
And there is a fine line probably for that, because a lot of us don't know what to say to those who are going through cancer. So we tend to say nothing, and then we feel frustrated, but we also don't want to put our foot in our mouth.
Right, and you know, and sometimes saying nothing is okay, because you don't want to be reminded of it. You don't want to think about it. You don't want to talk about it sometimes. And sometimes it's fine, but you know, other times after 15 people have asked you over here, you just want to come. Like when I went to school, I felt like I was at home because I didn't have to talk about it. I didn't have to say, oh, well, you know, this, I didn't have to, and it was normal. And I think that's why I missed only 8 days of school, because school was my home. It was I felt comfortable there. You know, I was doing something. I was at work. I was doing what I was supposed to do, which
Took
was
your mind off
yeah,
of
which
it.
was teach those kids, and that's what I'm here to do. You know, and so that's what saved me was work. You know.
Well, that's kind of the road in between. It's that light and dark. It's that God, and you called it Red Devil. That was part of your treatment. Is that what you named it, or is that what everybody
That's
calls
what
it?
everybody
That's
calls
what everybody
it. Yeah.
calls that one.
And how God worked through cancer to bring you all together, to make you a Causey. And so the C word is not cancer. C word is Christ and celebration and the Causeys. And so we thank you for sharing your story with us today on the road in between. You got a beautiful story.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stick around. We'll be right back.
Harvest Grill, where great food and gatherings happen in the heart of downtown Meridian. Open for lunch and dinner, Tuesday through Saturday. Come dine with us and experience traditional recipes with a fresh, surprising new flavor. Visit harvestgrillms.com to view our menu and hours.
Coming up next on the road in between.
In today's world where most businesses and corporations' main mission is to simply make profit, CRM Companies differs itself by focusing on being successful in a way that also promotes growth and prosperity in the community. CRM Companies isn't simply a commercial development and management company. They create opportunities, they create jobs, they maximize the potential for growth and development of a better community, all while still providing great services and outstanding customer relations. Learn more about CRM Companies and their mission today. Visit crmco.com.
Welcome back to the road in between. Make-A-Wish. It's a special organization that grants wishes for children of special needs and their families. Inside this building right here are stories of people who have been before on special trips and those who are getting ready to go. And they combine on this evening to celebrate life and to celebrate hope. We look forward to sharing these stories with you right now with Make-A-Wish. We are right here for Make-A-Wish celebration with Patricia Icom, who is the mother of Ladarius, and they're getting ready to go on a special trip thanks to Make-A-Wish, and we are delighted to be with you today.
Yes,
Patricia.
Sir. Yes, sir.
And we would love to hear your story and what brought you and Make-A-Wish together.
Well, actually, like I said, I was watching TV and something came on about Make-A-Wish. So I Googled it and it said something about an application. So I said, apply. And I put in the application, sent it through. Within 2 weeks, they were contacting me, letting us know that we was approved for the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Tell us about Ladarius.
Ladarius is 4 years old now. He was born with the brittle bone disease. He was born here in Meridian at Anderson Hospital. The pediatrician noticed something that wasn't right about. He's had 3 fractures in his legs, and his soft spot ran from the front to the back of his head. Immediately, within an hour and a half, he was airlifted to Black-Baxters in the NICU. He stayed there 2 weeks, and we came home, and we studied up on it, and now he's doing wonderful.
Because they said he probably would never
be able to do anything. And they're not saying that he will walk or he won't walk, but I'm claiming that he's gonna walk.
Yes. So the plans are that Make-A-Wish is arranged for you to choose a wish that you'd like, and y'all have chosen what?
Disney World. And we are going in November, exactly when, but we're going to Disney World in November. And we're very, very excited about it. And he actually loves airplanes, and he's already told me when we're in Baxters, we see him flying in. He said, Mama, I want to ride in the airplane. I said, baby, we can't ride in the airplane, but this is his wish. God is granting him his wish all in one, to fly in the airplane and to go to Disney World.
How about that? And you get to bring some of your family.
Yes. Yes, the whole immediate family, the kids, my husband, my 2 kids, and him and his brother.
Well, from Decatur, Mississippi, all the way down to Orlando, Florida, God has been with you.
Yes, and He's going to be with us.
Yes, indeed. Well, it's a privilege to meet you and to get to know Ladarius.
Yes.
And to stay in touch with him and see where God has in store for him.
Yes, sir.
Indeed. Well, thank you for being on our show.
Yes, sir. And y'all have a blessed day.
Thank you. What a delight to welcome in Carmen and Camden Hardy. And they are here to celebrate Make-A-Wish. And it's a big night, a send-off as you prepare to go on a special trip. And we look forward to hearing your story. So Carmen, thank you for being with us on the road in between. So share with us a little bit about Camden and about his story.
Well, Camden was diagnosed with sickle cell disease, which is a red blood cell disorder. Was diagnosed at 2 weeks old. So we've been fighting for 6 years now. He turned 6 last week on the 31st. So we've been fighting with sickle cell for a while. Right now he's doing good. He's getting chronic transfusions every 4 weeks. Trying to keep him out the hospital so he could live a life of a little boy and enjoy things as other kids. So.
Well, Make-A-Wish seems to be a big support for you.
And they have recently just came into our lives. They are a big supporter, you know. I thank God for them every day since we met them because they are just so awesome. They go beyond their duty, so they're awesome.
Well, Camden, where are you going with Make-A-Wish?
Disney World.
Disney World. Well, what would you like to do?
Well, I'm gonna go swim and I'm gonna see Mickey Mouse.
You sure are going to see Mickey Mouse. And you're going to see a lot of other characters, and they can't wait to see you. And your mama's so excited. She's as excited as you are. Well, when you get back from Disney World, you're going to have to come and tell us about what all you did, okay?
Okay.
Will you do that? You have to take a lot of pictures, Carmen.
I'll try to. I will.
Very good. Well, thank you for being on the show with Road in Between.
Thank you for having us.
We're grateful. All right. Take care. Good job. We're here with Brenda Golisch. And Brenda, you are kind of the queen to me of Make-A-Wish. And I want to thank you for letting us come into your place and sharing the stories of hope. And can you share with us a little bit about you and your story?
Well, I actually got involved with Make-A-Wish probably about 15 years ago. I had got injured, a broken ankle, and some of my friends one especially wanted to get me out of the house. And she said, the only thing is I'd like for you to go to this Make-A-Wish meeting with me, and then we'll go shopping, we'll go out to eat and everything. So I went to that meeting with her. I'd never heard of Make-A-Wish, to be honest, before that day. And I had had a child that had toxic plasmosis. And I remembered that feeling of, not knowing. I couldn't sleep. I was scared if I went to sleep, I might miss a cure. I might miss, of somewhere to go. And we were traveling too with her. So all this resonated with me that night. And the group just happened to be having a Wish Granters training that night.
How about that?
So I continued on, going to the meetings and everything, and just got more and more involved. But nothing stole my heart like when I was trained and I went out to do that first wish. That very first wish child had chronic diabetes. He was maybe 5 or 6 years old. And couldn't talk very well, but he wanted to see Blue Clues. He wanted to see Shrek. And so we knew the only way that he would be able to see that would be to go to Disney World. And so we did. We got that squared away. And that was my very first wish child. And very shortly, when he came back, he passed. And when we went to the wake and everything, the family was coming up to us and just thanking us for those memories. And just so much gratitude. Yeah. And I realized then that joy, those memories and stuff, that he was happy.
Yes.
Now that's the only one that, I've ever lost that I worked with. But I realize that it brings joy and hope during a time of such sorrow.
Thank you. Well, how can people get involved with Make-A-Wish? Is there a website or a place you can
They
go?
can go to Make-A-Wish of Mississippi. Our home office is in Jackson. Now, we actually meet, if they're in the Meridian area or surrounding area, we meet at Lauderdale County Farm Bureau, Highway 39, the first Thursday of each month at noon. We have a working lunch.
Okay.
And that's where we report the wishes that we're working on. We will talk about fundraisers and how they can get them. There is something that everybody can do.
Good.
There is something.
What about Hattiesburg area? Are you familiar with?
I'm not sure if they have a group that meets like we do. I know they had one until Katrina came through on the Gulf Coast. Now I'm not sure if they've built that back up or not.
Okay.
But they have several different areas. But if they check with the home office, they'll let them know.
Okay. Very good. Well, thank you for your love, and you pour out that love.
Oh, it's a wonderful job. I tell anybody it's the best job you can have. It's a volunteering job, but it's the best job anybody can have.
Absolutely. Stick around. We'll be right back.
A lot of people have helped get me here. My sisters always had my back. My buddies, Sonny and Sean. The crew, pushing me to be faster. Amy, reminding me to enjoy the moment. And Nationwide, who I've personally been with for 25 years. It's never been just me out there. Nationwide is on your side.
Award-winning, quality, experience. Glass Incorporated's expert team can handle single window panes to entire high-rise buildings. Whether you need storefronts, glass replacement, mirrors, or shower enclosures, no job is too big or too small. Glass Incorporated, your commercial and residential glass experts. Locations in Meridian, Foley, Alabama, and the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Welcome back to The Road in Between. Mother Teresa was called into ministry to minister in particular to those who were dying. And her mantra, her slogan was, "I don't want anyone to die alone." And so she began to go to those, not who were healthy, but those who were infirm, those who were dying, those who were diseased. That's what Jesus did, and that's what Jesus does today. Some of the greatest ministry takes place not when life is good, but when we are diagnosed with a disease. And then we have to decide what matters and who matters. Today we have had some good stories about God working through disease and bringing God's healing. It doesn't happen out of the air. It happens through angels who have flesh, who are nearby us. It happened with Scott Causey, who came alongside of his dear friend Tana, and they ended up getting married. And it happens with the children who we talked about today and their families, who really have enveloped them and given them hope and encouragement. So maybe today you are diagnosed with a disease. The C word is not cancer. The C word is Christ. And Christ comes alongside of us through friends and family. As you go forth from here, know that you go nowhere by accident. Wherever you go, God is sending you. God has a purpose in your being there, and He's given His Holy Spirit to you. So we'll see you next time on The Road in Between. The Road in Between is made possible thanks to these sponsors: John O'Neill Johnson Motor Companies, Glass Incorporated, CRM Companies, Archer Architecture, Benchwarmer Grill, Benefits Management Group, Bright FX, Construction Services Incorporated, Cooper Concrete, Harvest Grill, Marcello Cranes, Mitchell Signs and Imprints, Modern Outfitters, Mississippi Beverage and Water, Nationwide Insurance with Richard Davis, Woodstock Furniture.
Thoughts keep running through my head as I walk this road with nothing ahead. The sun beams down on my face as I walk this road that leads to amazing grace.